Man, I'm happy as hell. I'm sorry. I'm happy. I have no words really. I'm just I'm really surprised at the outcome. I didn't think I'd do this good, and I mean I'm here. I'm here 12-0, and I'm still, like my shirt says, undefeated.
Did this fight have particularly important circumstances behind it? I mean, we were talking before about your grandmother. Can you talk about that and how that influenced the fight? What this victory means?
Yeah, my grandmother passed away during my camp. Actually, I want to say a month out of a month into my camp. I didn't want to say anything throughout my camp. I kind of kept my composure about it. I didn't tweet it. I didn't put it on public media. I just kept it to myself. Kept it as motivation, I guess you could say. I wanted to just dedicate this fight to her, because she was always there for me. She raised me since I was a little kid. She was always there for me. I love this lady with all my heart, and it was a shame to me that I couldn't be there at her funeral. While I was in camp, my parents understood, but as soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna go visit her grave.
Having that in mind, was that almost like something that kind of grounded you throughout this week? Here it is, your first UFC fight, such a big stage here. I mean, so much media here that came out covering you here. I mean, did that kind of just ground you throughout this whole process and not kind of get overwhelmed by the stage?
Honestly, I'm a well-grounded guy. I'm not one to get overly hyped about myself or about the attention. I'm very, very humble when it comes to this sport. I know that I'm not the best, I'm not the greatest. I do have some talent, but I'm a very humble person when it comes overall. Overall, I'm a very humble person. I don't think of myself as a killer or anything like that. I'm just a normal guy that does his job.
And what was your corner telling you going into that third round? Did you feel it was a round apiece at that point, and what did you have to do in that third round?
All I knew I had to do in that third round is to control and push the pace, keep my striking going. If he did take me down, get back up and do it again. Just keep the striking going. I knew he couldn't keep up with my striking. My striking was way too much for him, and obviously you could tell.
Did you have any questions in your mind about what the outcome would be when you were waiting for the scorecards? Were you confident in victory?
No, I was actually gonna. I do the celebration stomp before and after the fight. I always do it, and I was actually gonna do it right before I announced. I already knew I had won.
Does this open to you a fight when the UFC does make its debut in Mexico? Do you think Do you think you'll have another fight in the States, or do you think that maybe your next fight will be on Mexican soil?
I wanted to be in Mexican soil. I would love it to be in Mexican soil. It'd be an honor for me to fight in Mexico. It'd be an honor for me to fight on that stage and to fight in my home grounds. Yeah, it'd be an honor.
Do you have any sense of how close the promotion is to making that happen? And it was rumored for April, but then it got pushed back because of Kane's injury. Where do you understand it is now?
Something along the lines, maybe November. I'm not too sure. It could be sooner. It could be later. I don't know. It just depends on what the UFC wants to do. I'm just all for it. I think there's a lot of talent needs to be searched down there in Mexico, and this is a great opportunity to be able to do this and to be able to open more doors for the Mexican fighters down there. And I'm proof as to one. I'm another proof that there's other Mexican fighters out there that can do the job. Goito Perez is one of. Goito Rubalcaba is one of them, and I'm another.
You just went through about a 25-minute Spanish language scrum over there with about 20 cameras. What's this like? And you were treated basically like a champ right over there.
Yeah, it's expected, especially being from Mexico, and having a lot of Mexican media. I mean, it's going to be expected. I expect it, but I love it nonetheless. I love the support that my Mexican fans give me. I love the support that the Mexican media gives me. It's an honor. I was born in Mexico, raised in Mexico for a while. I came over to the States. Became a citizen. I'm a citizen now of the United States, but my roots, my heritage, my heart belongs to Mexico.
Did you realize that of the first four fighters representing Texas, you were the first one to bring home the win today?
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that, and that kind of motivated me throughout before I went out there. And it's like my entrance theme said. You can't run, you can't hide. No matter what the outcome comes, you can't run, you can't hide.
You knew going into the octagon they were 0-3 for Texas.
What?
You knew walking into the octagon that you were needed to represent. That
I needed to go and represent. I needed to go and make a statement, and I knew regardless of the outcome, whether I win or lose, I was going to make a point.
When you first started training, I read that you were around 260 or two. Yeah, like
265, yeah, more or less.
you're a big dude.
Yeah, well, I used to play football back in high school. I played football for the Edinburgh Bobcats. We went to semifinals and state semifinals two years in a row. I mean, I was always a big guy. I played defensive tackle, so I was always carried around my weight pretty good, as far as big goes, And one day I was sitting on the couch and I noticed myself heaving, from how big I was, and I was like, you know what, man, I need to get off my butt. I need to do something. I was always a real athletic person, even in football. And right after football, I just let myself go a little too much. And whenever I started training again, I just felt alive. I felt like a brand new person. And right now, I feel like I'm young again.
What's your walk around weight these days?
Walk around weight right now, especially when I got this call, I was 205. When I got this call for this fight, I was 205. That was about 2 months ago. I was kind of angry at my manager whenever it happened. He didn't notify me before he took the fight, and I was like, dude, what are you doing? I'm 205, bro. I can't make that cut yet. And normally I had just come off the win off of Leicester Legacy, and I thought I could make that cut real easily from 75 or 85 that I was at that day. To 55 wouldn't have been that big of a problem, but I gained too much weight after I got told that the cane card got scratched. I gained way too much weight. I let myself go way too much. I got lazy, but it's not gonna happen again. I'm not gonna go over over a 185 anymore, or even maybe 175. And I'm gonna continue being at this weight class, and because I feel way more dominant, way more stronger, faster, just way better.
Speaking of it, just what you had to go through to make that cut. Was there any feelings one way or another about Forge missing weight here? You made it, or do you think that might have been a detriment to him in this fight later in the rounds?
It definitely was. He obviously was depleting himself way too much. He didn't diet properly. He didn't train himself properly for this fight. I think he took me a little too lightly. I think he saw some of my fights and said, oh, maybe I've been fighting some chumps. And hey, man, that was probably his fault. My fights are up there, up there on YouTube, and I don't take them down for a purpose, because I want to show the people the evolution of my game. Yeah, I started off fat. Yeah, I started off slow. Yeah, I started off doing this and that and doing that. But hey, I dabbled in 3 different divisions, and now I'm in my home, and I'm gonna stay here.
What was the deciding factor for the weight class? Because obviously you could have chosen multiple weight classes.
Well, no, honestly, I probably couldn't have, because the reality is my height. I'm real realistic when it comes to things like this. I know darn well that anybody I fight at 205, 185, 170 is going to tower above me anywhere from 6 foot to 7 foot tall. That's not a weight class I belong in. This is the weight class I belong in. This is the weight class I've always belonged in. I just been way too lazy to get there. Now that I know I can get here, I'm going to stay here.